Good evening, Dr. Velasco. Harold Vega here, one of your students, one of your favorite students from Management 360 that you taught us at through cohort for Public Sector Management 50 for season and through season. I wanted to talk about the four concepts that stuck to me the most during this course. One of them was organizational behavior and the management process. The other one was leadership versus management. The other one was on communication skills. And the last one was power in organizations. I think these four concepts stuck to me the most because I have aspirations in the future to be a manager in the organization that I belong in, which is LAUSD. The first concept, management functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. The resources used by managers: human, financial, physical, and information. I think planning is one of the most important functions that a manager has. If you don't plan a project correctly, you're basically setting for failure. So it is very important, extremely important actually, for a manager to know how to plan accordingly a specific project in order for the project to be successful. Organizing, designing the jobs, assigning groups, determining out of your group who works well together, who possesses the skills necessary that you want them to perform certain tasks, getting to know your personnel and knowing how to use it, how to put it to work. Leading, getting the organization's member to work together toward the organization's goal. I mean, leading people there. Being leaders of the group that you belong in, providing that capacity, making sure that is clear that your group or organization has to follow your leadership. Controlling, monitoring, making sure that you're capable and able to take correction necessary when you see that the project is not going according to plan, or that you identify that things aren't basically working the way you thought they would, or they're not meeting expectations. Also, critical managerial skills, technical skills, interpersonal skills, conceptual and diagnostic. Technical skills, I think a manager should know the skills that people in his group know. I mean, that way you can fill in for someone, or be able to do that when someone is absent. You can fill in without major trouble. You can also, it's important for you to learn the skills so that you know the kind of difficulties that they're going through, and you can communicate to them basically on the same level. And also for you can learn the skills so that your employee doesn't BS you. You know, if it's something that is too technical that you don't understand, and you don't take the time of learning those skills, basically they can BS you. They can say, "Oh yeah, I'm real busy right now," when in all actuality they're just not doing much, to perform. So it's beneficial as a manager to have those technical skills. Interpersonal skills, that's more in a human level, being able to, or having the wanting to getting to know the people that work with you. You know, maybe once in a while, bring donuts to the office, or buy them bagels, or taking them out for lunch. Getting to know one another on a personal level, I think that's extremely important. That goes a long way. People do notice these gestures, and show your human side. Make sure you have a good record, a good rapport with your group, with the people that you manage. Conceptual skills, the ability to think in the abstract. In other words, be able to whenever there's difficulty on the different units that you manage, make sure that you can come in and see things from outside. Think outside the box. Make sure that you know what they're going through, but also try to come up with different concepts of things that can help them achieve the goal, and they will very much appreciate it if you do that. Put your experience to work. In other words, diagnostic, the ability to understand cause and effect, relationships, and recognize the optimal solution to the problems. So be able to assess the level of success, and make sure that when your project is successful, and that you can basically use that as lessons learned for future projects, and understand what the result was. If you were successful, how successful. If you were not successful, how come, and understand the pros and the cons of that dynamics. So another concept is leadership versus management. The traits of leadership are intelligence, dominance, self-confidence, energy, activity, and task-relevant knowledge. So when you are managing a group, people look up to you as a leader, and you should display some of those traits. Also, make sure that you understand that leadership, when you're a manager, that leadership, just because you're the man in charge or the person in charge, does not necessarily mean that you will be the leader of every project. You can actually relegate or transfer leadership to someone that has more technical skills or better technical skills for that particular task, and you can present to the group to say, hey, you know what, this person is going to take leadership on this particular task. It's okay for you to admit that that would be a better way to go, and they would your employees will actually appreciate that you can relinquish some of those responsibilities onto them, because ultimately they also want to learn to become a manager or a leader. Communication skills. Active listening, making sure that active listening on the book was becoming actively involved in the process of listening to what others are saying and clarifying the message's meaning. Making sure that you pay close attention to individual inferences, facts, and judgments, and making sure to make useful and logical connections between what you've heard and multiple locations. In other words, become a better listener, a better listener. When someone's speaking in front of you, make sure that you're paying close attention, that you show your undivided attention, that you are respectful of the fact that they're trying to transfer some knowledge onto you. On that, we also have some of what stuck to me the most is the communication skills is the ones that a manager should possess, which is skills to improve on, actually. Active listening, like I said before. Skills to improve also include meeting skills, making sure that a manager can actually conduct good meetings. In other words, if you call for a meeting, make sure that you have a good reason to meet in the first place. Make sure that you create an agenda for that meeting. Make sure that that everybody has a chance to review that agenda. Require participants to become prepared to these meetings, and keep participants focused on the agenda to have an effective meeting. Also, writing skills. I think this is very important, because in today's day, communicating through emails or even text messages or letters is very important, and you show your professionalism when you put your writing skills to good use. Make sure that one very important thing is to make sure that you edit, that you revise what you're about to send before you hit send. That's happened to me before. I learned my lesson from that. I want to make sure that I don't do that in the future. Presentation skills. making sure that you speak up, you speak clearly, people can understand what you're saying, and show your audience that you're comfortable with them. Channel nervous energy into enthusiasm. Move freely and naturally without pacing. Look at your audience. Minimize the use of notes and watch audience signs of comprehending and making sure that you have a good contact with everyone, and try to getting their attention, so that you have a more effective presentation when you're trying to present something. I also wanted to talk about power in organizations. The nature of power in the book is defined as power is the potential ability of a person or group to exercise control over another group's person or group. The types of power. This is I didn't realize how many types of power there were, for managers to be aware of, which is legitimate power, reward power, coercive power, expert power, informational power, referent power, persuasive power. I had no idea about all this, and I'm glad that I got to introduce myself to these concepts, and because I believe that's very important as a manager, knowing that you have power, but also learning how to use that power, not abusing that power, making sure that you know when to make use of it and when to back off, and making sure that also you don't become power hungry, because you lose people's respect when you do that. So those are some of the 4 most important concepts that I learned in your class. Thank you so much. In a personal note, I wanted to thank you again and congratulate you for coming this far and becoming Dr. Claudia Velasco. I was very proud to be in your class and learning that you are from my country of origin, of beautiful El Salvador. It just means the world to me. It's the first Salvadorian professor, doctor that I get to know, and I'm very proud to have been in your class, and I hope this is not the last one. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next class, hopefully. Thank you. Bye-bye.